दृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् Verse 286 सुप्तिवद्विस्मृतिः सीमा भवेदुपरमस्य हि दिशानया विनिश्चेयं तारतम्यमवान्तरम्. So Vidyaranya established that if a person has clearly received this Shastric teaching properly, then very understanding gives instantaneously moksha. One gains knowledge. At least you know that now you are not a human being, you are not a karta, bhokta, etc. You are not a bound. So that's knowledge. So everyone is a jnani, by the way. So that ignorance is not there. Earlier, when I say you are Brahman, you said, what is that? I am a Brahman. But now, after certain exposure to the teaching, you know. So, so Jnanam is already there. But of course, Ajnana Vasana is there, and therefore we require Jnana Vasana, etc. That's a different topic. We will talk some other time. So, if Jnanam is there, Jnanam Phalam is why it is not there. We are discussing from some other angle, but that also is there, which is described in a Nishkarma Siddhi by Sureshwaracharya ji. So anyway, so this understanding will give immediately moksha. Because understanding is, it's not like that you are bound and you are getting released now from the bondage. If that is there, then it requires a whole process. That if that is such a thing that you are really bound and you are getting released. Since the bondage is very beginningless and therefore, release takes time. And therefore, such a thing is not there. Only you drop a notion that I was a bound or I am a bound. That's the thing. You consider yourself as an individual or ahankara, and that was a notion born of ignorance. That goes. That's all. So that notion goes. So means you that's a fact that you are free, and now you accept it that yes, I am free. Not that freedom is really a process, that you are bound and you are becoming a free, etc. Well, in that understanding, definitely, means I am ever liberated, Atma. In that understanding, Jnani's attitude towards the mind will change. First, what will be the attitude now? Well, I am not the mind. I am not this, this possessor of the mind, not related to the mind, because I am Asanga Atma only. So, freedom is my nature, and so it is never disturbed by the conditions of the mind. So definitely I will not connect my liberation with a condition of the mind. That's a very beautiful thing. Conditions of the mind is a condition of me, is a status of a ignorant person. Well, he doesn't have that thing. So, I will not connect my liberation with the condition of the mind. Very knowledge occurs in the mind will change my attitude towards the mind itself. And so, so it's like, the Shastra gives you knowledge, and by getting knowledge, you negate Shastra also. That's how it is. Even Shastra says that, you negate us. So that is how it is. Vedaha tatra na Veda bhavanti. So, etc. Veda also are not there. For describing a Jnani, so this is Devaha na bhavanti Devaha, Vedaha na bhavanti Veda, etc. Brihadaranyaka describes. So, Shastra itself becomes mithya. Shastra gives you knowledge, and by which you gain a knowledge. In fact, that is also there in Nishkarma Siddhi. The very cause by which a thing arises, that thing destroys the cause. And they give an example. Sureshwaracharya ji, just by the way, Sureshwaracharya ji gives an example of a fire, forest fire. So in a summer, this very dry atmosphere, and these trees are also very dry, and therefore branches are also dry. Those branches, due to that wind, strong wind, they come in contact and they literally collide with each other, and then a spark arises out of that. And that spark, well, definitely then creates a fire. In the fire itself, that whole tree gets destroyed. So the fire itself arises due to the tree or branches of the tree, and that fire destroys the very cause. So this is how it is. So same way, this jnanam always is considered as a fire. So that destroys pramana, etc. Pramata, everything is destroyed. You see, whole dvaitam goes away. Knowledge cannot happen without dvaitam. We should know this very clearly. Pramata, pramana, everything is required. Otherwise, how will pramana takes place? Oh, there is no pramata. Pramata and pramana, everything is just one. Then knowledge will not take place. You require a pramata which is separate from pramanam. You require a object, subject matter, let us say, which is described in a pramana. Everything is required. So pramada, pramana, prameya, triputi, which is dvaitam, well, is required, which is born of ignorance, that is required. But that knowledge which arises destroys that very dvaitam. Negates pramada, pramana, everything negates, is negative. Anyway, so here also mind, I am saying. So the knowledge, well, you gain it through the mind. That knowledge itself negates the mind. So I am not the mind, etc. You will know I am not ahankara, etc. Ahankara, through ahankara only you get a knowledge. That's a pramada. So that is gone. So it is, and therefore such a person will, he knows that I am asangatma, and therefore I am not connected to the mind. That is not really knowledge. I am asangatma, that much is not a knowledge. I am asangatma, and there is nothing other than me. There is nothing other than me. Then only you are not connected to the mind. Well, I am asanga. I am unconnected to the mind. But mind is another reality which is there. Then it is connected. You are at least connected by subject-object relationship. You can't say that I am not, I am asanga. You can't say. Because you take yourself as a subject. And mind is another reality like you. And then definitely mind will be the object. So subject-object relationship is there. Anyways, that's what Bhashyakara removes even in this Adhyasa Bhashya. Vishaya Vishayinoho Itaretara Bhavanupapattau Tamah Prakashavad Viruddha Sabhavayoho. That itself proves, in Adhyasa Bhashya. So all this is basically, there is nothing other than you. And so far, then why should you call Asanga? Asanga means you are not connected. When you say you are not connected, there must be other thing, but you are not connected there. No. But since you experience it, we say like that. What you experience it, to that you are not connected, because that's of a lower order of reality. It's just experiential reality, empirical reality, and therefore you are not connected. That's what we say. And therefore there is nothing other than you. Even if it is of a lower order of reality, and the reality is only you. So we can say you are limitless. So you are free then. So Asanga Atma, which is, and there is nothing other than Atma, means you are free. Because you don't have any boundary of a limitation of a time, place, object, anything. So that's how, he says that I am free. Freedom is my nature. And it is never disturbed by this condition of the mind. So I will not connect my liberation, etc. with the condition of the mind. Very knowledge, should change my attitude. And it changes, of course, towards the mind itself. Mind, of course, is an instrument to know, but once I gain knowledge, my attitude changes towards the mind. Mind becomes anatma for you. And now you don't claim any relationship, you don't claim ownership of a Atma, of a mind. Well, then who will claim that? Who will claim ownership of this mind now? Well, Ishvara. So since whatever the reality it is, a Vyavarika reality, empirical reality, well, Ishvara, we say this belongs to you. It does not belong to me. So Ishvara will have a ownership. Then, but still mind is there with you. Well, you may say you are Asanga Atma, but mind is there. You are experiencing and you are thinking and what a lot of activities you do during a day with the help of the mind. So then how will you connect yourself to the mind? Being Asanga Atma. Well, I am trustee. And therefore, I have no ownership. I am trustee. Ownership is of Ishvara. Anyway, so it becomes a property of Ishvara. And I'm a trustee. And when, you are trustee of this superimposed mind or a mithya mind, well, then, as long as this prarabdha is there, well, I remain as a trustee of this mind. And then, being a trustee, now then you should take care of it properly. Okay? And therefore, I have to keep the mind in a fit condition. And for whose sake it is? Somebody asked me. Why? There is nothing other than Atma, mind is mithya. For whose sake he is improving the mind? For the sake of people. That's called Lok Sangraha. I told you about that also. Certain conditions of the mind, and it is going to get expressed in words or in your physical activity, etc. And people will judge you based on that. People will judge the knowledge based on that. And suppose if it is a negative reaction, etc. I mean, if it is a reaction, not negative, it's a reaction, then definitely they will lose the faith in the knowledge, in the person who has the knowledge, everything. They will just reject. Knowledge itself they will reject. They will reject Shastra indirectly also. Because Shastra gives the knowledge, but that's not practical, they will say. And therefore, for the sake of people, that which is called Loka Sangraha, just as for the sake of people, he continues to do activity, karma, etc., even if there is no need for him. Same way, he continues to even improve the mind. Well, for the sake of people, basically, being a trustee. And he can do better. Definitely, because there is objectivity. Because he is not a mind. If he takes himself to be a mind, then the condition of the mind becomes a very burden. But now he takes it as object, anatma. And therefore, and that to mithya. Then if it is a real also, then you will feel it is bothering me. Like other person bothers in my home, suppose. Yeah, but he is object for me. I am a subject. He is different from me. Fine. But he bothers too much, he or she, whatever. But it is mithya. That's a knowledge. And so then he can take care of it. Mithya thing means he can easily take care of it. And to keep the mind fit, how many factors are required? We discussed Bodha, Atmajnanam, Vairagya, and Uparama. Dispassion and Uparama, quietude of the mind, etc. And in that, our three, Bodha is very important, Jnanam is very important, because that only keeps my attitude towards mind properly. If Jnanam is not there, where is the question of taking mind objectively? You are the mind, right? It's identification. And therefore, most important thing is this Jnanam, by which you have understood that it is mithya. And you are Satyam, you accommodate everything. What is mithya? There is nothing other than that, etc., etc. And so basically, I will take it as I'm a trustee of the mind. You take it that way only when you have a knowledge. So out of the three, so the most important thing is for the fitness of the mind is to understand it as a mithya first. And then you can take care of a Vairagya Uparama if it is less, plus or minus. Then you can definitely take care of them as object. And so, as an object, you can maintain very well. This maintaining object through knowledge, Jnani keeps mind fit. And now he has a knowledge, so only two factors are required. Two factors are there, which has to be improved upon in order to change the fitness of the mind. Earlier it is less fit, Now it is morphed. For that factor, for that purpose, he has to basically take care of Vairagya and Uparama present in the mind in a proper manner. So, well, and how he takes care of a Vairagyam, we have seen Dosha Darshan. So, this Dosha Darshan will generate Vairagyam, and definitely through that, there should be a detachment for everything, because I have told you Jnani will have a he also will have a attachment for knowledge, attachment for dharma, attachment for Ishvara, attachment for Shastra, even maybe attachment for the person who is a dharmika, attachment for the person who is a mumukshu, maybe there. All these things become obstruction. If something goes against dharma, or he sees something against dharma, something talks against Ishvara, somebody talks against Shastra, he may right, he may get angry, because it is against his wish, his desire, his attachment, and therefore this is to be taken care of by all the jnanis. Any kind of anger arises, I am sure no seeker will accept it, even for the sake of a right thing. Anger is not accepted. Some people try to justify anger in other jnanis. We should not do that. Because Bhagavan said, Kama Esha, Krodha Esha means it's any kind of anger. Bhagavan has not defined, make a change there. He says this thing should not be there. And here Vidyaranya also says, Vairagyam, a total detachment. Mithya means mithya. Ishvara also is mithya, dharma is mithya, everything is mithya. Other than me, other than I, everything is mithya. I Uttam Purusha hai. I am Uttam Purusha. This is Uttama. That's how they say Uttama Purusha. This is a second person and third person, and I am Uttam Purusha. And really I am Uttama. So that's how basically anger should not be there. Anger should not be there. So anger is there, Vairagya is less. Work upon it. And he can work easily. For him, Mithya Darshanam is there. But out of samskaras, that's his second nature, that he was a dharmika and he is a dharmika, of course, in a vyavahara. Then definitely one who is against adharma, dharma, or against Ishvara, etc., he may get angry. He should not. So dosha darshanam should be there everywhere for getting total detachment. And so mind has to reduce the attachment to avoid any kind of a disturbance, anger, etc. Similarly, Uparama also, one should possess the quietude of the mind, and by practice of yama, niyama, etc. So mind will be generally quiet, Ashtanga Yoga, etc. So a calm and detached mind means with a Vairagya and Uparama, a mind is a one who has that kind of a mind. Jnani we are talking about, Bodha is already there. So is a healthy mind. Then Vidyaranya talked about the highest in all the three. Right? That also we saw. Highest in Vairagya is what? That we saw in the previous verse 285. Well, he said, even, everything up to Brahmaloka is seen as a blade of a grass. It means Kshullak, Mithya. So what is, that is a highest in a Vairagya. What is highest in a Jnanam? Well, body is so natural right now to me. Same way for a Jnani, I am Brahman is very natural. He has not to remind all the time, I am Brahman, I am Brahman, I am Brahman, I am Brahman. That sadhaka has to do. That is called Jnanavasana. Understand this. So Jnanam is there. You say I am Brahman, you are repeating Abhyasa, you are doing Abhyasa, I am Brahman, means you know that you are Brahman. So Jnanam is there, but Jnanavasana is not there. Since Jnanam is there, opposite cannot be there. Tamah prakashavat viruddha svabhavayo. Ajnanam has gone. But Ajnana Vasana is there. Why Ajnanam goes and Ajnana Vasana will be there? Because Ajnanam since beginningless time. And therefore, just Vasana is there. Habit. So Ajnana Vasana goes by Jnana Vasana. That is called Nididhyasanam. That is the Nididhyasanam. So that is I am Brahman, I am Brahman, I am Brahman. But this is Japa Swamiji, I am Brahman, I am. But I am not telling you say I am Brahman. You say I am Nityamukta. You say I am Shuddha. You say I am Sachidananda. Sometimes you say I am Brahman also. There is not just one word. for Atma Jnana. But just stick on to this I am Brahman. We have said several things. Nitya Sarvagata Sthanu, Achaloyam Sanatana, you are Achalaha, you are Sanu, you are Nitya. Think that way. That I am this, I am this, I am this. This is Abhyasa. Abhyasa creates another habit. Vasana. Habit means Vasana. Any Abhyasa creates a habit. Anything which you do frequently will form a habit. That's what it is. And therefore, form and habit, that's an advantage of a human mind. He can adapt to any situation, totally reverse situation. And we have undergone sometime to a very adverse situation, all right? We may be living very comfortably, but at times, we have gone to some pilgrimage or something, and whatever food we get and whatever things we get, and we might have gone for a month, then we get accommodated to. I mean, we used to live in that compartment, real compartment. Me and Swamiji, all. We are okay, but then Swamiji also, 1 month we moved and then in that rail compartment. So it is always attached to some that bogie. Rail bogie is attached to a train that takes to Mathura, and then from there somewhere else, Vrindavan, and this and that. And so then you are used to now living in a rail bogie, believe me. So this is how it is. Not just me or you, everybody has that kind of thing. So form and habit create a vasana, which you already have of knowledge. I am Brahman, etc. And therefore, definitely, Bodha is this. Well, I am Brahman is natural for him. That's a culmination. So it is very spontaneous for him. Like in our mind right now, very spontaneously comes, I am human being, I am man, etc. etc. Same way for him, I am Brahman becomes spontaneous. That's the height of the Jnana, Bodha. Then he talked about Avadhi of Uparama in this verse 286, first line only. What he says here, Suptivat Vismrutihi. So, Suptivat, Sushuptivat. So, like a deep sleep state, Vismrutihi. In Sushupti, you forget all experiences of the past and even present also, of course. Everything goes away. Vismrutihi. So, there is no preoccupation. So, the height of the Uparama is that there is no preoccupation at all. So, by preoccupation, I mean disturbing thoughts or disturbing preoccupation, etc. So, how do you know that whether a particular thing is preoccupation for me or not? How will I know? Whenever we have nothing to do, that object will come in my mind. When my mind becomes idle, then that object appears. And and creates anxiety, etc. in you. That's called preoccupation. And therefore, everybody has that kind of a disturbing thought patterns anyway. So forgetfulness, like sleep, is a avadhi of a uparama. Means your mental quietude will not go away. And not only forgetfulness with regard to past. Generally, we remember the past and we become again disturbed due to some experiences. So that is not just regard to the past, but even in present also. Like we experience certain things, and certain impressions are formed, then they are retained. And then when we become free, especially in the night when we go to the bed, whole thing keeps coming. Whatever we experience today or sometime of the past. So that's called preoccupation, which disturbs your mind. Totally gone. While experiencing itself, please understand this, while experiencing itself, his mind tells him, this is all mithya. This is just an apparent. This is a show going on. And with this background, this is a silver line. With this background, he undergoes a whole experience. But since that mithyatvam is there, it's so non-stick, that is there, nothing sticks in his mind. And therefore he forgets. Even a incident of a insult, or incident of something else, or incident of any kind of a thing in the present and of past. Like when you go to sleep and you forget everything, past, present, everything. Same way, in present also, while experiencing, he knows very well, nobody goes and nobody comes, and nothing, nothing happens. What is there is just consciousness. And on this consciousness, which is like a canvas, this is Chitradipa, we are going to see. It's like a canvas. Things are appearing. Whole painting is appearing. And therefore, while undergoing experience also, his mind will have a little impression. But that impression is like an impression of your writing on a water. It just doesn't stick. That's called Uparama. There is no preoccupation. So his mind is, even if he becomes idle, he gets sleep very easily. So, because he has nothing to worry about. Oh, this thing has happened today, tomorrow what will happen? Then that incident happened in my past 5 years ago. I don't know why it occurred, and that time I would have done that, and nothing of that sort. So basically, this is how his mind is. Where this knowledge is there of a mithyatva, that's an underlying thing, like a shruti. It always remains. So, well, I am not a karta. Kartrutvam, which is appearing at the ahankara level, is mithya. Ahankara itself is a mithya. I am the very truth of the ahankara. I am the essence of ahankara. Ahankara is just an appearance. And therefore, that also does not stick. No impression, no hurt, no guilt. No hurt, no guilt. He may express like that, oh, I should have done that way. I should have done. Nothing sticks to him. That is called avadhi of Uparama. So says Suptivat Vismrutihi Sima Bhavet. This is a Sima. This is a avadhi, or a border, or let's say height. Uparamasya. Now, second line. What he says in second line, Dishanaya Vinishchayam Taratamyam Avantaram. So Vidyaranya says, once we talk about the height of all these three, then all jnanis will have a mind which are in intermediary stages. This is what we have shown the height. Particular jnani, due to we have seen that also, may have a very, very great measure. Well, we have seen, right, in that verse number 283 we saw Punyaloka Tapobalat, etc. But I'm sorry. Mahataha Tapasa Phalam 282. So due to great tapasharya, it's in terms of karma yoga, of a long and upasana and everything for a long time. Well, he may have all the three. Of course, Bodha is there, but then other two also will in a great measure, possible. But generally, all jnanis fall in between, in intermediate state, and therefore, even though jnanam is same for all the jnanis, well, the jnanis are in terms of this vairagya and uparama, the percentage of that, well, will have in an intermediate state. And students, of course, where that also we talked, various students have a various levels of all the three. In fact, for a student, all the three. Anyway, so so mental condition will not be the same for all jnanis. That's what we are going to discuss. So just as a body's fitness varies, similarly, mental fitness also vary, and we can grade them. We can grade jnanis to the various levels. So some Vedanta Grantha, basically classify mental conditions of the jnani. Vidyaranya does not want to do here, but he has done. He has done a gradation of a jnani in Jivan Mukti Viveka, which we are going to do after this. Jivan Mukti Viveka, I have thought of doing Vidyaranya, service to the Vidyaranya by this. Jivan Mukti Viveka is wonderful. But there he has described jnani. He has described jnani in terms of, some gradation in jnani he has shown. But here he has not. Well, so, basically, so he, there he, even I think Yoga Vasishtha also. In the Yoga Vasishtha also you will find a gradation in a jnani. They define like this: Brahmavit, then Brahmavit Varah, then Brahmavit Variyan, then Brahmavit Varishtha, So this is a Brahmavid, this is a Jnani. Then who is next to that, higher to that? Brahmavid Varaha. Varaha. Higher than that. This is a higher Jnani. What is this higher Jnani? And then much higher Jnani. And on top of all them, Brahmavid Varishtha. Even Mundaka describes, right? So, Yesham Brahmavidam Varishtha. Swamiji, what will be the difference in a one Jnani that I am limitless and other Jnani who says I am limitless? What is the difference? There cannot be any difference. The difference is in terms of not at the level of Atma, difference in terms of Anatma, mind, where Vairagya and Uparama may be plus or minus in all. Anyway, basically all are muktas, but their minds are different because of several reasons, including prarabdha. So that is said here in second line. Anaya disha. Anaya disha means analyzing in this manner. What analyzing? Mental conditions of a jnani should be analyzed in this direction, and then vinishayam. Then you should arrive at avantaram taratamyam. Well, you should arrive at the gradation, taratamyam, gradation. You should arrive at the gradation of a jnani. Avantaram means subdivision, not primary. One jnani and other jnani has no difference at all. The difference is, well, their bodies are different or not? Yeah. Well, their minds are also different. What a big deal. Their bodies are different or not? Well, you say, otherwise how will you use a plural for a jnani? Oh, there are so many jnanis. Jnani says, I am not jnani. Jnani says, I am Brahman. And then where is the second one? Where is the second? So from the onlooker standpoint, there are several jnanis. How will you differentiate now? How will you use a plural? Oh, Swamiji, I am seeing one body, second body. Okay. If physical bodies are different and you count many, and maybe one physical body will have, has a ill health, other has a good health. So then we can say even that this jnani has a better health and this jnani has an ill health, etc. So you find gradation. That's due to anatma only, physical body. Then same way, subtle body has some vairagya uparama plus and minus due to prarabdha. Well, definitely maybe subdivisions of the jnani we can do. And this way we have to even understand Esham Brahmavidam Varishtha. In Mundaka Upanishad also it has been told. Varishtaha means a superlative degree, and therefore definitely there must be a positive and comparative degree also, which are less. So gradation is there, but not from the standpoint of a jnana, from the standpoint of anatma or of mind only. Jnani knows whatever be the body, I am free. Whatever be the mind, I am free. That's all. So basically for his standpoint, even he does not have that. Oh, that jnani's mind has a more vairagyam and I have less vairagyam. Nothing. He just does not judge. And even if he judges, he understands it well. Two objects, two different minds have a different degree of vairagya and uparama. No connection to oneself. That's very important. I have no connection. I was not connected to the mind, and I have no connection to the mind, and I will not have any connection to the mind. To have a connection, there should be a real mind. Reality should be like a reality of Atma, which is not there. Atma and Anatma are not two equally real things. Atma is Satyam, Anatma is Mithya. Mind is a Mithya thing, which is, of course, I am experiencing, and therefore we are improving upon, etc., for the sake of the people, etc. That is very clear, very objective about this. And therefore, whatever be the condition of the mind, I am free. Whatever be the condition of the body, I am free. Well, it's all prarabdha. 287. Arabdha karmana natvad buddha namanyatha vartanam tena shastrarthe brahmitavyam na panditaihi. So Vidyaranya says, since mind will be different, then likes and dislike also will be different naturally. But their likes and dislikes are non-binding. So they have non-binding desires, and in non-binding desires, well, they differ. So basically, not that why non-binding, because they are not bound to the desire, fulfilling desires. Because if they are bound to fulfill the desire, well, definitely in that case, no, you will have a problem. Because after fulfillment of the desire only you become happy or free. So that freedom is a dependent freedom. Where is moksha then? And therefore, this is all non-binding desires. And mind, well, definitely depending upon their svabhava and prarabdha, this will have. So that's how Bhagavan says, Sadrisham cheshtate sasyaha prakuter jnanavanapi. Every jnani's activity will be dependent on the svabhava of the mind. Even Bhagavan has also non-binding desires, right? Of Srushti, Sthiti, Laya and Dharma Sthapanam, etc. So, well, Jnani also can have. So, Arabdha Karma Nanatvat, because of the variety of this Prarabdha Karma, Buddhanam, Jnanis have a different lifestyle, of course. So, well, I mean, one is very active and one is passive, etc. Well, so Buddhanam Vartanam, lifestyle or activity, Arabdha Karma Nanatvat, Arabdha, Prarabdha. Prarabdha Karma Nana, manyness of the Prarabdha. Well, at the Ahankaras are many, definitely. And therefore, at the level of Ahankara, there are differences due to differences in Prarabdha. So, Buddhanam Vartanam. So, their lifestyle or activity will be based on that. Anyatha means many and varied. Their lifestyle or activity will be many and varied. And that's how Shankaracharya ji was very active, and some other Jnani will not. We have discussed all these things. And that's how some of the Jnanis will have to, their Prarabdha. Just being a Acharya of a Pitha, you will have to do puja, Ishta Devata puja, 3 hours. I have seen Shungeri Acharya does a elaborate puja of a Chandramaulishwara. And other Acharyas also. I have seen even our Dwarika Acharya also, Pithadishwar, Shankaracharya, he does elaborate puja. But that is what they have to do. So, and some Acharyas, well, some Jnanis, maybe they are free. They don't do also Ishwar puja, etc. So, means seeing all these kind of differences, tena, which are superficial at the ahankara level, at a mental level, well, na bhramitavyam, may you not get confused with regard to what? Shastrarthe. Shastrasya artha. What is the meaning of the Shastra? What is the purport of the Shastra? That, well, I am Brahman, etc. In that, there is no difference. Just these differences are at the level of a ahankara or the mind. So, Shastrarthe na brahmitavyam. With regard to this Shastra, meaning of the Shastra, purport of the Shastra, Jeev Brahma Aikyam, etc. Or, well, I am not ahankara, I am not mind, I am not related to the mind, I am ever free, etc. This is the purport of the Shastra. With regard to that, please don't have any kind of a Brahma in your mind. May you not have any kind of a confusion. This is just at the level of ahankara or at the level of a mind. The differences will be there. So, but who should not get confused? Panditaihi. So, by the students of the Vedanta, well, they themselves are Pandita only because they have gained knowledge. So, definitely, such kind of a confusion should not be there on their part. So, we should not think, well, active Jnani is superior or inferior. Some people think, too much activity means I think there is, they have so much of, their mind may be very much agitated and nothing of that sort. So, Jnani is active means it is superior, and Jnani is not active means he is inferior, or not active means superior, sitting under a tree all the time, so superior, and moving around means he is inferior. Never think of that thing. It is all due to prarabdha, due to mental setup. Anyway, 288. स्वस्वकर्मानुसारेण वर्तन्तां ते यथा तथा अविशिष्टः सर्वबोधः समामुक्तिरिति स्थितिः. So Vidyaranya says, well, even though there is a superficial difference, well, in terms of mind, in activity, etc., there is no difference in jnanam, no difference in liberation. Swasva karma anusarena. In keeping with swasva karma, in keeping with their own prarabdha of ahankara, well, belonging to their jnanis, te vartantam, let them live a free life. let them, I mean, in whatever way they like, let them live. So, yatha tatha vartantam. So, if whatever way they like, let them remain. Means what? So, they can, it's a licentious life? No, 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 no. Bhagavan said in Bhagavad Gita, well, sarvatha vartamanopi, well, sayogi mai vartate. So, definitely, wherever he is all the time in me. And therefore, it may be possible that person may be grihastha also, and he may be performing some duty. Like suppose his son he is not married, suppose. Then he may be seeing a jatakam. And also he may be seeing and matching also with a particular girl's horoscope, etc. And if he knows Jyotish Shastra, he will do that also. But you said yatha tatha vartanta. The way, in whatever way they like, they live. But they will never go beyond dharma. They will never cross dharma. Why? Why? Because that is how they have become a jnani. And therefore, no adharmic activity will be there. Adharmic vasana itself are not there. And therefore, as a sadhaka, he has followed dharma, karma yoga, etc. And therefore, that is his second nature. And therefore, but that's how Shastra gives a sanction. That, let him live the way he likes. Because they know that jnani never crosses a dharma. He will never do adharmic activity. But Vidyaranya says, Sarva Bodha Avishishta hai. Avishishta, Samanya hai. Vishish, so basically knowledge of all the jnanis is one and the same. Is uniform. Let us say Avishishta means uniform. So I am Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Atma, etc. All jnanis will know this. Not only knowledge is same. What? Sama Mukti hi. Mukti also is Sama. Liberation also is the same. So basically, if you measure this, a liberation based on the condition of the mind, then moksha cannot remain the same. And that's what generally people do. Ignorant people do in this manner. They evaluate other jnanis also based on their mental condition and their expression of the mental condition in the Vyavahara. And Ajnani themselves also judge naturally based on the regarding liberation. They judge themselves based on the condition of the mind. That's how they judge others also on the same basis. So, but that is not. There will be a tartamyam between two jnanis. Gradation will be there. Some may have a more vairagyam, more uparama, one may have other may have less due to prarabdha, prakriti, sabhava. And therefore, but so far as the knowledge is concerned and the mukti is concerned, everyone is same. And that is, I am Nitya Mukta Atma, and there is no connection with the mind. Jivan Mukti and with this Videha Mukti, both are byproducts from the standpoint of mind. Because this is the mind where he was having earlier a notion that I am bound. That's in the mind. And now he says, I am free. So that Jivan Mukti, definitely is, definitely it's a byproduct, from the standpoint of a mind. And same way Videha Mukti also. He becomes free from all the dehas, etc. later, once the prarabdha is over. So that is also from the standpoint of deha or of a mind. But Nitya Mukta is the really thing. Oh, I was ever free, I am free. I am Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta. So I am Nitya Mukta, basically, which is there all the time. So Vidyaranya talks about from that standpoint. So he does not take into account the condition of the mind, right? So in that sense, he talks about a mukti means Nitya Mukti. With respect to mind, if you there, then Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti has to be brought in. But here right now he talks from the standpoint of a Nitya Mukti. So with this, Vidyaranya concludes threefold sadhanas keeping mind fit, right? Knowledge and uparama and vairagya. Knowledge also keeps the mind fit. Knowledge is, I am not connected to the mind. Mind is mithya. It's available for experience, but not a reality. It is just available. It has a superficial existence. There is nothing called mind independent of me. And therefore, with this knowledge also helps to keep the mind fit. Anyway, so now he concludes the whole chapter in the last two verses. Actually, in the last, this 289, and then last verse also tells something else. Anyway, verse 289. Jagat chitram swachaitanye pate chitramivarpitam mayaya tadupekshaiva chaitanyam parisheshanam. So if you go back to the teaching of this chapter, well, Vidyaranya has taught Vedanta in beginning of the chapter, first 18 verses, 17 verses rather. He talked about the principles of Vedanta in a brief manner, giving an example of a Chitrapata, because of which only this we have this this chapter called Chitradi Prakarana. Anyway, so Chitrapata Drishtanta, and there he gave the 4 stages that Chitrapata. Well, Chitrapata means a painting basically, and he divided into 4 stages that thing. Well, Dhautapataha, Gattitapataha, Lanchitapataha, and Puritapataha. A pure cloth, canvas, white canvas. Gattitapataha, starched canvas, and then Lanchita, some outlines, and then Purita, some colors, and that's how whole painting was ready. Same way, whereas now you can take it in our case, this canvas, white canvas without anything, is like a Brahman. And universe is compared to this painting basically. So, and that's how he compared with that. And then elaborately he talked about this Vedantic principle with the example of Akasha. That is from verse number 18 to 288 is just expansion of that. But in that he has taken example of Akasha. There also he divided into 4. Gatakasha, Jalakasha, Mahakasha, and Meghakasha. Now I'm not going into that because we have seen in detail. So this Akasha Drishtanta also has been divided, and same way this the whole universe has been compared with that also, along with its Adhishthanam Brahman. And now here again in this 289, verse 289, he concludes giving that Sankshepa Drishtanta. Because now he is concluding, and therefore he is giving that example by which he explained the principles of Vedanta briefly. That is a Chitrapata Drishtanta. So Jagat Chitram, he says, Jagat Chitram, picture of the world, Swachaitanya Arpitam, basically it is superimposed upon one's own consciousness. Like other than consciousness, where is a question of Jagat? Where is a question of any name and form independent of consciousness? That's what we are saying. There is nothing other than consciousness. There is nothing besides consciousness. There is nothing without consciousness, etc. And therefore, whole like a painting is there. In without that canvas, it is not there. And same way, any name and form means Jagat also is like a chitram, like a painting. Without canvas called Brahman, it is not there. So Pate Chitram, a picture painted on this canvas, in that definitely canvas is Satyam. It can exist independent of this picture. But whereas this picture is Mithya because it can't exist independently. So same way, Jagat also is Chitram. Jagat also is a painting, and it cannot exist without consciousness. So world is Mithya, and Chaitanyam is Satyam. And this Mithya Prapancha is superimposed upon basically on this consciousness. But who performs this mischief? Who does this superimposition? He says Mayaya, whole world is superimposed upon me, the consciousness, or Brahman. Mayaya Arpitam. So, this is due to superimposed up due to Maya. Then, what is our job? We have to reject. What is superimposed, we have to reject. Two things are there. Painting also is there, and canvas also is there. Then make them separate. You will find that you cannot make them separate. And in that, one exists independently, other does not exist independently. That painting Rama, right? Rama is there, Rama's body. That Rama's body, you take it out and keep the canvas separate. No, it can't. And therefore, that basically Rama's body in the painting cannot exist independent of the canvas. In fact, every part of the body in the painting of Rama, is none other than this canvas. That is how it is. And therefore, same way here, the whole world also is mithya. We have to reject it. Tat upeksha. We have to reject it. Reject it means what? Not physically. Physically you cannot reject. Don't attach reality to them, basically. Don't emotionally invest in mithya prapancha. Don't lean to the world. It's a cardboard chair, they say. So if you lean on that, you will fall down. Dabam. And therefore, Chaitanya, so that is what is happening. That is what is happening. And so any name and form disturbs me. In this world, any name and form. A machhar also can, a mosquito also can disturb, anything can disturb me. Anyway, so Chaitanyam eva parisheshyatam. Let the Chaitanya be the reminder for you. And so, and such a Chaitanya which is Advaitam, non-dual, which is one, you should have, you should take as a reality. That's a moksha. So with this, he concludes Chitradeep Prakaranam. Let's see the last verse. Chitradeepamimam nityam yenu sandadate buddhaha pashyantopi jagat chitram te muhyanti na purvavata. Ye imam Chitradipam anusandadate. So, ye imam Chitradipam. Chitradeepa Prakaranam, I mean. Ye, Buddhaha. Well, suppose some seekers dwell upon this teaching, rather. Chitradipam is a Vedantic teaching. Well, either in the form of a Shravanam, Mananam, or everything is there. Everything is there, right? So, Vedantic teaching is there and you are hearing and ascertaining the meaning of the Shastra, that is just Advaita Veda. I mean, there is reality called Brahman or Atma. Well, that is the reality. That's a Shastra's purport. Shravanam. Mananam, oh my God, several doubts it has resolved, right? This particular Prakaranam. So, Mananam also is there. And then, well, dwell upon the teaching now. Just dwell upon the teaching. You take a few verses, then take the purport of these verses and dwell upon it that you are that. And so, Nididhyasanam. So, ye imam Chitradipam anusandatate. Anusandanam means ultimately Nididhyasanam, etc. So, all the time, when should I do? Nityam. All the time, as often as possible. Nityam is not, Swamiji, then we have not to sleep also, we have not to do anything. We have to cook and we have to do this and we have to go to hospital, something. And therefore, as often as possible. Nityam means as often as possible. Buddhaha, see? Ye Buddhaha nityam Chitradipam anusandadate. So, these wise people, why? They are seekers. Wise people did not have to do Anusandhanam of this and do Shravanam. No, they are going to be Buddhaha after doing this. Therefore, they are told, like that person is in the first MBBS and he is told doctor. How can you call him a doctor? Well, he is in the first year of medical sciences. But this is how it is. He is going to be a doctor. So here, well, if one does this Shravana Manan Nididhyasana of this chapter, this teaching, Vedantic teaching, well, definitely they will gain this knowledge. And such a person or some such people, such seekers, they purvavat na muhyanti, they will not be deluded as before. Why they are not deluded or why they are not confused? Well, they are living in a family, there are several problems. No. Jagat chitram pashyantaha api. So, even though they continue to experience same people in the family, irritating people in the family, still, because of prarabdha, they will be there, alright? They won't go. This is, if prarabdha goes, then they go. Then new prarabdha, new kind of people, new setup. Okay, so they won't go anywhere. By this knowledge, not that they vanish. Because this is Jagat, Mithya, so they vanish. No, they will be there. They no more irritate you. Why? Jagat Chitram Pashyantaha. Because now it is Chitram for you. It is for Jagat is Chitram and therefore it is just a painting which is not possible other than canvas. So this canvas alone appears in the form of a Rama and Lakshmana and Sita and this river and mountain and everything. And therefore, well, so Jagat Chitram Pashyantaha. Understanding this is called Mithya Drishti. The understanding that other than me, this is my message ultimately. Other than me, there is nothing reality. That's all. Whenever you say, I am nothing other than me, there is a reality. Not that you are a person. No, you are part of the world. As a consciousness, well, other as a consciousness, that is my reality. And other than that, this body, mind, sense complex and the whole world has no existence. There is nothing besides me. There is nothing without me, and there is nothing other than me. I mean, there is nothing away from me. I'm sorry, away from me. That's all. The whole thing is just a show. Then tena muhyanti. They will not confuse you. They will not give you suffering. Well, therefore, watch this serial henceforth and never become too serious about the show. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.